Welcome back to WBTV News on Bounce. Back now for the moment or moments we've all been waiting for. If you're just joining us, we're learning details we never knew about our family's African descent. Dr. Gina Paige, one of the founders of African Ancestry, is here to share the results from our DNA tests. We also asked Mama Mack, Stella Mack is here, you know her as Mama Mack, to join Brigida for her results. Good to have you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
She's on the show every week for her segment, Ask Mama Mack, usually here on Tuesdays. She's here on tonight's special. One thing that we do know is that both my mom and dad's families are based out of South Carolina, but for my maternal side, we're talking about towns in the upstate, Abbeville, Easley, and Pickens area, if you were familiar at all with South Carolina.
Okay, and that's about as far back as you can go?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you know what? We've got the answer. Now, Gina Paige has the results from the test. I feel like we should have a drum roll. Brigida, what's going through your mind right now?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think. I'm just open. I'm excited and ready to find out.
Okay.
So the good news is that we did find your maternal ancestry in Africa.
Okay.
In West Africa, in one of the larger countries on the West Coast. This country actually has both English and French as its official languages. It's known as Africa in miniature because anything that you can find culturally, geographically, on the continent, you can find in this country.
Wow.
It's with great pleasure that I welcome you into the African Ancestry family as descendants of the Tikar people living in Cameroon today.
Wow.
Yes. And
Cameroon.
so, you know, congratulations,
Thank you.
of all. I have your African Ancestry certificate.
Oh, wow.
This is welcoming you and confirming that you share ancestry with the Tikar. And one of the things about the Tikar is that they're the artists and the artisans of the Cameroonian culture. So this sounds familiar.
Like that, right?
Is this consistent with what we know about your family?
Pretty much, yes. Most of my mother's nieces were all teachers. They're educators. No principals, but they all just kind of, you know, very strong-willed, short people.
Well, I don't know about the short part. I don't know if that's common among the Tikar, but I'll tell you that Cameroon is one of the African countries with which we have a very strong relationship. And back in 2010, we went with a delegation of 54 African Americans who we traced to Cameroon.
Wow.
When we met at the airport, they were African Americans. Wow. When we landed in Cameroon, they were Cameroonian Americans, and after 10 days in the country, they became Camericans. And so they've completely defined a new identity for themselves that even people from Cameroon recognize. So you've come into a very strong group of people.
Cameroonian.
And I also brought you a T-shirt so that you can rep Cameroon.
Oh, yes.
When you're wearing T-shirts.
So doing that.
And the exciting thing is that this is not just for you and your mom, but for your brother and your sister, your brothers.
Yes.
Everyone on your maternal line shares this ancestry. So from just one test, you've been able to unlock the ancestry for many family members.
What are you thinking, Mom?
I'm thinking like, trying to keep my head down, you know, on my shoulders here.
Feeling pretty proud.
Yes, definitely.
This is awesome.
You got a good line. Now I'm nervous about my
people
line.
living in Cameroon. I was going. Maybe I should wait till the commercial break, but I want to snap a picture.
Now with that said, I mean,
here's the map.
Would you guys be interested in going over there?
Sure.
Most definitely.
Yes. Wow.
That has always been my ultimate trip, is to go to Africa because we played host to Thomas and Gladys. Our church did like an exchange, and they came over, and I'm like, I've got to see this place because the kids are just so.
They were both from South Africa, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, they were both from South Africa. But so we had we've had an interest for so long, like having them stay with us for back-to-back summers and learning more about their culture. And then as I've learned more, about my husband's culture, again, it's just, I feel like it should be on everybody's bucket list, but
Yes.
certainly every Black American's bucket list. To see Africa for yourself, because what it's portrayed to be, what you think it is, what it actually is, far surpasses anything that you could imagine. And while there are elements of truth to what we've seen in America, it doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of everything that it is. I just went to one country in Africa, one country.
And you probably didn't go through the
No,
whole country.
no.
Yeah.
We were in Nairobi. His family is from Nairobi, and we saw different sides of Africa. It's a booming metropolis. People may not realize that about Nairobi. It's as big as New York City. And then we also saw the slums in Nairobi, and I didn't know that Kenya has the second largest slums in Africa outside of Soweto in South Africa. So just so many things. That's why I'm saying it's so important, like you said, to know where you come from and to really know more now. This is, you're just trying to soak it all in.
And you also saw the beauty of the country because you guys went on a safari as well.
You know, just more things than you could, I mean, in the natural habitat where you wait for them. Right. You know, the lions are crossing the road. We're just gonna turn off this Land Cruiser, and you do you. This is you know, your world. What now, Amanda?
Mama Mack has some pictures here.
She has some pictures.
Yes.
Yes, that's my mother's mother and her husband and two of my mother's brothers.
Get a shot of it right here. I feel like on the middle camera, maybe. Right here. Over the camera one. There you go.
Okay. So you said this is what?
This is my mother's mother and her husband.
So your grandparents.
Right, and two of my mother's siblings, brothers. And then this is a family photo of my mother and my dad and little old
Look
me.
a little
You're right there in the
Mack.
middle.
And my two older brothers.
Okay.
And then Mack and myself, your dad.
So my mom and dad, back before they had kids. Check it out. 70s fly.
Yeah, look at
I
them
like that.
horn-rimmed glasses. And then we produced these little creatures.
That picture is circa 1988, folks. We kept Olin Mills in business.
It was very special.
Folks from around here will know Olin Mills.
Yes, it did.
So
So I am really eager to go.
And now you can go home.
Yes.
You don't just have to randomly
No.
pick a country
No.
because that's what you've heard about or because they speak English or
Yes.
whatever it is. You get to go home.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
amazing.
Well, congratulations to you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's go, Delano.
We cannot wait because Delano,
We'll
you're
see.
coming up next.
We'll see. If you want to learn more about your roots, log on to WBTV.com. Look at the web extra section right there on the homepage. All right, we're taking a break. Coming up next, I'm going to learn about my African roots. Can't wait for this. We're going to be right back.
Welcome back. Our quest to know our African ancestry continues. We're back with Dr. Gina Paige, one of the founders of African Ancestry. We've been talking about this the entire show here. Delano also swabbed his cheeks to learn his maternal roots, and now Dr. Paige has the results from those tests. But before we get to that, Delano, do you have any knowledge about your mom's line?
Not so much. I talked to her on the phone tonight. We invited her to be on the show, but you know she doesn't like to go into a show where she doesn't have a lot of information. My mother's very particular about what she's speaking on and all that kind of stuff. So I invited her. So she said, I'm going to decline this time. I said, it's okay. No problem. I'll let you know after the show.
Okay.
It's no big deal. Yeah, good deal.
All right. Gina, tell us Delano's results.
All right, so you also took the matriclan test. So these were, do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I have two brothers, yes.
Okay, so these results are the same for your brothers and your mom and you mentioned an aunt
Yes.
and aunts and uncles, their children, everybody on your maternal line shares ancestry with people living in two countries.
Okay.
So we found ancestry for you in one country that it's actually one of the smallest countries on the coast of West Africa.
Okay.
The people that you share ancestry with in that group, in that country, are nomads. So they travel all over North and Western Africa,
Right.
but the people who share your exact DNA are found specifically in the country of Guinea-Bissau.
Okay.
So you share ancestry with the Fula people, Fulani, Fula, living in Guinea-Bissau today. And then, because Africa has been divided up and these borders are artificially and politically drawn,
Right.
we also found matching DNA in a country that's only about 300 miles away from Guinea-Bissau.
Okay.
And you've already heard me speak of it, actually. It's home to the Mende people who turned the ships around. They weren't having the enslavement of their people. So you share ancestry with the Mende people living in Sierra Leone today. And there are so many people that we've traced. You heard me say the King family, Coretta Scott King, also the actor Isaiah Washington, we've traced to Sierra Leone, the rapper Q-Tip, we've traced to Guinea-Bissau. Roland Martin, we've traced to both Sierra Leone and Guinea-Bissau.
You are in some spectacular company,
there are
my
lots
friend.
of people who share that lineage. How does that make you feel? Are you familiar with those countries?
I know some of them. I guess Sierra Leone, I know that as well. You know, it's very interesting. It sounds good to hear you talk about it. It sounds fantastic. So I want to know more. I can tell you that, yes.
Well, welcome to the African Ancestry family. This is your certificate of ancestry. We're so pleased to have you both as part of our family. Sierra Leone is an English-speaking country, so you can travel there very easily and learn more firsthand. So when they're on their way to Cameroon, you can go to Sierra Leone and enjoy yourselves.
How about that? We said they moved around a lot. My father's in the military, so I moved around a lot too. My mother and my brother. So you know, so that sounds cool.
And where's your family from?
My family is from Perry, Georgia. They're a lot from the Georgia area.
Okay.
Didn't pinpoint a lot of them as far as Perry, Georgia, in that area. Some other places in Georgia.
So there are a lot of enslaved Africans were brought specifically from Sierra Leone to South Carolina and the Georgia, the Sea Islands, because they were rice farmers. And so they were brought specifically to farm rice in that part of South Carolina and Georgia. So there's a lot for you to learn.
Okay, thank you. That's very interesting. I'm looking forward to learning more about it. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
And I didn't tell you your cousins.
Okay.
You have cousins like Taraji P. Henson.
Oh, I knew I loved Miss Taraji
She does love
for
Taraji
a
P. Henson.
reason.
Nate Parker, the actor Nate Parker.
From Birth of a Nation,
Quincy
great debater.
Jones, I mentioned.
Quincy?
You have some big impressive people on you too.
Well,
there's Erica Badu.
Erica Badu girl. Okay, all right. Wow, this has just been so
very
eye-opening.
And your T-shirt.
Oh,
I brought you Sierra Leone.
Ah, fantastic.
Awesome.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That is so, oh my gosh, this has been so fantastic.
I didn't know what to expect. I mean, they're very, very interesting, I can say.
Delano was trying to snoop.
I heard that.
He was trying, we put it on Twitter. So you said we had been very humorous on Twitter tonight. Delano, because he likes to know. And I like to know
that
too.
from his mama.
My mother,
There you go.
To know what I'm talking
well,
about
you come by it honest.
There you go.
This has been so awesome. You can order a maternal or paternal test kit. They are available at AfricanAncestry.com. You can also call to place a number there, the number there on your screen, 202-723-0900. They're on sale for $270 each. We've also put more information on WBTV.com. Look in the Web Extra section, which is right there on the homepage. Gina, it has been beyond wonderful having you here tonight. I want to ask you
something because you almost look as excited as we are to find out about it as giving the news. So this being involved for you is great, right?
Yeah, this is the most fun part of what I get to do is to share the information because you never know what people are going to expect. And so I just appreciate the opportunity. We take this very seriously. There's no other way for you to know where you're from, unfortunately, except through DNA and through our company. And so I don't take that lightly. And I am as excited every time someone finds out where they're from. We all get lifted up. So.
Now, what about you? What about your
lineage? Well, I share ancestry with the Fulani people, so we're cousins living in Nigeria today on my maternal line. And then on my paternal line, I share ancestry with the Hausa people living in Nigeria. And the Hausa women are the business people of the culture.
Well, it's only fitting. You run your own company, totally makes sense.
Yes.
This has been so awesome. Thank you for being here tonight.
Oh, you're most welcome.
Oh, gosh,
Thank you
we're
for
beyond
having
grateful.
me.
Absolutely. We'll be right back. All right. Sorry.
We're so caught up.
I know.
All right, Lindsay, thank you. We have one last question for Dr. Gina Paige. She's been here the whole time with us. There are a percentage of African Americans who don't find their roots in on the continent of Africa.
Right. So inherent in us being African American, we know that there's been mixing. And so when we trace the maternal line like we did for you, 92% of the time the results come back African, but 8% of the time they don't. They are either European or Asian or Native American, Indigenous American. So we are called African Ancestry, but we tell you what we find. We can't guarantee that what we find on any one branch is going to go back to Africa, but obviously there's African there. So
Is it the same for the paternal side
so
too?
the paternal side is even broader disparity. So we find African results 65% of the time for the father's line.
Oh, wow.
And the rest of the time, 35% of the time, it's European.
How about that? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for anybody that's thinking about doing this, they're on the fence. What would you tell them?
I would say you have to know where you're from. You don't have a choice, especially today. It's so important for us to have a foundation. If we had a foundation, we wouldn't be shaken by a lot of the stuff that's going on. And so find out where you're from, if not for you, for your children and your grandchildren, so that they come into the world knowing who they are.
Wow.
Fantastic. Well, we appreciate
This
you being
just
here.
been an amazing
you've
show
been fantastic tonight. And
Thank
such
you.
a good spirit about you.
Thank
you know?
you.
Yes,
Thank
thank you
Yes.
so much. I just want to stay here and pick your brain. Here is the information where you can find how to order a kit, the information right there. It's also on WBTV.com in the web extra section, folks. So we encourage you to look into it. And the company based out of D.C. So thank you for making the trip from D.C. To be here.
This weather made it easy.
Well, thank you so much for watching this special edition of WBTV News on Bounce.
We'll have more news at 11 over on WBTV, but we'll see you again tomorrow night.
Thank you again.
Happy